thinking that I was live, and I had not pressed the live button. So, but I am now. I gave my most amazing talk ever and didn't press the live button, which isn't true. So what I was talking about was it has been a bit since I've covered the next. I think I'm 2 days behind. The next in line of the Seven Spiritual Laws of Success, Deepak Chopra's book, foundational book for me. It's one of a few. I could really probably list them through life. The things that um, gave me this leap in my path and my recognition, what I wanted to do, how I wanted to do it. Um, with, of course, I've mentioned Carlos Castaneda quite a few times. I mentioned Wayne Dyer a few times. Um, but Deepak's book, The Seven Spiritual Laws of Success, brought me into contact with my path of meditation. This is what I was going to do. Um, First, I was going to meditate. Then, um, I was going to teach meditation. I just knew that I was going to um, teach yoga. Of course, at the time, I didn't realize what type of yoga that I was going to teach. Um, Though I had an inkling, because before I read this, I had read um, autobiography of a yogi, Paramahansa Yogananda, and that had a deep, profound effect on me. And I realized that, the common view of yoga is not the real yoga. Yoga is not, there isn't a yoga for rock climbing. There isn't a yoga for runners. There isn't a yoga for sport or health or for fitness. There is just yoga. Can you take some of the asanas and use it to increase your performance, help your performance? Sure. But really, that's just stretching. Um, it's a different type of stretching because you're still opening up your uh, energetics system, the subtle energy. Less so because you're not doing it with the awareness that you gain from starting your yogic path at the very beginning. Which is another thing we can talk about. It's been a while since I've talked about the um, whole path of yoga. Let me cue that up. But before we get there, let's continue on with the seven spiritual laws of success, at least up until day 5. With day 1 being the law of pure potentiality. Um, the law of pure potentiality states that, let me read it right from the book. The source of all creation is pure consciousness, pure potentiality seeking expression from the unmanifest to the manifest. So it is consciousness seeking to recognize itself as consciousness. And when we align ourselves with that power, then we are in line with that same power that brings the unmanifest to the manifest. It's how we were brought. That's the whole basis of the meditation that I practice and teach, primordial sound meditation, as well as any Vedic mantra-based meditation, that you're taking the vibration frequency, the vibrational quality of the mantra, and having it first, as you listen to it, you are hearing the mantra come from nowhere to now here. And then as the mantra fades, it's returning you back to that. It's returning you back to the unmanifest. That's the loveliness of mantra meditation. Everything you practice, every type of meditation that is practiced, is a great form of meditation. Vipassana, insight meditation, Zen meditation, any type of observance of the breath meditation, heart rhythm meditation, all of it's good. I fell in love with mantra meditation because of the ease, the simplicity, and how we're not concentrating. We're not using any force. You don't chant the mantra. You don't repeat it in any type of rhythm. You gently think it. And of course, all kinds of thoughts pop in your mind. So meditation works. When you try to still the mind, when you try to recognize the stillness of the mind, you notice the junk. That's a good thing, because without noticing, it goes on anyway. When you begin to notice, then you are becoming aware that you are aware. You're now identifying as a witness, as the witness, the observer. And as you keep sticking with that, as you keep thinking the mantra, the observer and the observed are seamlessly revealed to be the same thing, one thing. The witness is the witnessing. And again, there's no effort, there's no force to mantra meditation. As a matter of fact, if you're frustrated, if you think, man, I'm having all these thoughts, it's a sign you just need to relax. Return to the mantra. Simply think it and letting go. And by rights, you don't even let go. You're not the one letting go. There's no doer in that letting go. There is just the letting go itself. So you get in line with the law of pure potentiality, your pure potentiality, the universal force of the universe itself, by meditating. And all of the above, getting out in nature. Nature brings us to a natural ease of meditation without us having to do anything at all. Now, it's important to take a few steps. If you are out in nature and you have, if you're out in nature and you have your headphones on, if you have your head down and you're on your cell phone, if you're listening to music, either with earbuds, do they still use earbuds? I don't know. Or out loud, if you're engaged in an ongoing conversation with someone, then you're not really immersed in nature. You're simply outside. There's a big difference. When you're outside, when you're in nature for the reason of being in nature, that's when inspiration finds you as well. Your brain naturally settles into the alpha brainwaves without you trying to meditate. But if you allow yourself to be distracted by all the stuff that you could be doing inside while you're outside, again, you're not immersed in nature, you're just outside. Our friend Night Watchers here says hello, and the little dot, what are they called? I always forget. Bracket. I guess technically they're not brackets. It means smiley with a double chin. Oh, wow. Nice. So nature is a meditation on its own. Easy, free, no need for concentration, no need for effort. But you just need to make sure that you are appreciating nature, immersed in nature, letting nature wash over you. Don't bring all your daily stuff with you. Don't bring the outside, don't bring the inside busyness to the outside. At least, you know, if you're going out running, if you're doing something, a brisk walk, that's fine. But if you want to use meditation for a healing modality, if you want to use meditation or nature for meditation itself, then you need to be truly out in nature. And Night Watcher says, Yogi, call me Night. It's what everyone calls me. I will do so, although it might take me a bit to remember. If you recall, I called you fire battery watcher for quite some time, and then I asked you which you preferred. So, night. I will do my best to remember. How was the rest of your day? I was thinking about you. I was thinking about your artwork, um, relating it to my own writing, and when I was first starting out writing, the mistakes that I made that were so totally avoidable in hindsight. When you're doing it, nothing is avoidable because you don't know. I wish I had knew. And Paradox says, hi, it's me again. How are you? Appreciate you being here. I've been talking about nature. I've been talking about, I was talking about yoga, as always, and writing, meditation. Here's the important thing with art. Knight. And Knight says, Yogi, should I call you Eric or Yogi? Both are fine, actually. I'm good with all of it. I think probably most people do call me Yogi. And Laradox says hello again, and that they're good. How's life? Life is good, actually. I really enjoy life. I enjoy being alive. I enjoy the things that life brings me. All of it. Even the grief, even the sorrow. And I do my best not to get attached either way. I'm not always successful, but I realize that, life is going to bring you a taste of everything. Laradox says, I am a conservative. How about you? No. I guess if you'd listen to me for a while, you'd probably say liberal. My views tend in that direction. Personally, though, I don't want to relate to someone as from a liberal point of view. I don't want to relate to someone from a conservative point of view, because then you and I are talking from the point of labels. And if I met you in person, I certainly wouldn't see a label. I'd see a person. I'd probably see a lovely person, probably a friendly person, probably a person who, if I had a flat tire on a country road and it was raining, saw me struggling, would probably pull over and lend a hand. That's not a conservative value. It's not a liberal value. It's a people value. But if I were to look at you as a label and say, and look at myself as a label and say, I can't accept your help, you're a conservative. Or if you saw me and on the back of my car it said, Biden Harris 2024, you'd be looking at me as a label instead of a person. If you saw me as a person struggling in the rain, you would help. Although I'd be willing to bet that even if you saw that bumper sticker, you'd pull over and lend me a hand. But that's the thing, once we become a label, I think it was Kierkegaard, the philosopher Kierkegaard, he said, I'd like to double check my philosophers. Once you label me, you negate me. First, I got to spell label right. Kierkegaard is my fallback philosopher. When I can't remember who actually said it, I come out Kierkegaard. I'm probably wrong 9 times out of 10, but I can remember Kierkegaard. And it was Kierkegaard who said, once you label me, or if you label me, you negate me, meaning I'm just a label. I'm less than. I'm not a neighbor. I'm not a friend. I'm not a potential friend. I'm not anything other than that label. So that's my view on, politics. I always tell people, I paraphrase the Dalai Lama, who stood up at the first religious leaders conference, World Religion Leaders Conference, when everyone was giving their name and their title, all the high up people in the world of religion. And he stood up and simply said, my religion is kindness, and sat back down, and it floored everyone. So when people say, well, what are your politics? My politics are kindness. So that's then sort of sums that up. A knight says, I know, Paradox, don't tell me you watch, did that prega you? Paradox. Little correction there. And Lewis is here. Good afternoon, Eric and chat. So you had a pretty intense burpee session today. It is what it is. And Knight says, hello to Lewis. It is what it is, says Eric will give you the last banana if you needed to eat. That's Eric. That's saying a lot too, because I really love my bananas. It's a staple of my diet. And I appreciate you saying that, Lewis. Let's see. Knight says, Dalai Lama is a weirdo and does weird stuff with kids. He did a weird thing with a kid once. I don't know. I don't know the Dalai Lama. I've read his books, most of his books. I've listened to him talk. Always seemed like a straight shooter. He's getting old. Sometimes old people do some weird stuff. I don't judge. I don't know. It was certainly weird. Knight says, is it a stereotype that propel people like Yogi, who are relatively older, wiser and smarter? The people like Yogi, who are relatively older. You can say it, Knight. I'm pretty damn old. I'm pretty damn old, but I can still do a lot of burpees. I can handle that. Who are older, wiser, and smarter. I am certainly not smarter than you, Knight. And wiser? Nah, not really. Maybe, because I've lived older. I've lived longer. I am older. I've made mistakes, and hopefully I've learned from those mistakes. I've made mistakes that you've yet to make because you're younger. And if I could help you avoid those mistakes, I certainly would. But at the same time, you're younger, you're living in a different world than I did when I was your age. You got that wisdom that I don't have. And you could certainly guide me in a whole lot of ways. I think the fact that I've been, meditating for so long and practicing yoga has helped me gain an inner access to my intuition and live an intuitive life. Can I apply that towards other people? I don't know. I'm hesitant to say yes. I'm hesitant to try. It's enough for me. It's enough for me to listen to my inner guidance and I don't need to offer it out to other people saying, hey, this is what my intuition tells me you should do. I have no idea what you should do. But I wish everyone the best. Laradoc says, you know that Jesus died on the cross for our sins. So I've been told. I went to Catholic school in my formative years. And I am a admirer of the life and lessons of Jesus. If you take the path of Christianity up until all the way up until the crucifixion, and not yet enter into the resurrection, you still have a wonderful path of love and forgiveness. The final act of Jesus on the cross was to forgive those who persecuted him, and offer some keen insight. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. They didn't know. Their lives were steeped in ignorance. So as far as Jesus was concerned, they were blameless because of that. He could have cast down vengeance. He could have prayed to his Father and said, avenge me, Father, because these son of a bitches certainly do know what they're doing. But that's not the message of Christ. It was love, compassion, empathy, and forgiveness. According to A Course in Miracles, which sort of comes across as an Western psychological Buddhism / Christianity text, the real lesson of the crucifix, or the real lesson of the cross, is that we can all survive our own crucifixion. It is what it is. It says quick and fast and in a hurry session. You got it done. I saw that Brian Lane got his reps done in the rain. At least the last 25 or so. And Knight says, Noble's also live right now. Yep, I got him up and running. Or I did. I don't see him. You check again. There we go. I try to keep him up and running when he's live, and I pop in. I participated in the What Do You Like More, Dogs and Cats. Laradoc says, you don't judge people. You don't judge pedophile. I don't know that he's a pedophile, so why would I judge him? And Laradoc says, man, that's strange. Of course it's strange. Everything I do is strange. It is what it is, says, did Jesus judge that prostitute? Docs. Knight says, Yogi, are you religious? I don't have a religion. Again, I went to Catholic school. I was baptized Catholic. I was confirmed Catholic. I absolutely love the teachings of Jesus. I think that if people followed the Beatitudes, the Sermon on the Mount, if they actually took Christianity as a practice and not just mouthed the words, the world would be a better place. It's a beautiful, beautiful religion, but it's not my religion. I like to gather wisdom where I can find it. And that's from Jesus, and that's from Buddha, and that is from Krishna. So for me, I'm a yogi. That's my it's my spirituality. Laradoc says, if you don't accept that Jesus died on the cross, then that's weird. It's actually no weirder than saying, if you don't accept that Jesus died on the cross, that's weird. Because not everyone has the same thoughts that Laradoc does. Laradox's thoughts are perfect for Laradox. They're wonderful. They're absolutely beautiful. Um, but they're not for everyone. They're not mine. So, you know, you neither heard me say that Jesus didn't die on the cross or say that he did. Um, so for you to put out that he's weird is just sort of weird. So welcome to the club. The only difference is um, I embrace my weirdness 100%, revel in it, happy with it, and put it out there on a YouTube channel so people can show up and say, man, that's pretty weird. And then we have a fun discussion with it. Lewis says, God has no religion. Jesus, on the other hand, apparently does. It's an excellent point, Lewis. Although Jesus himself had love. That's what he taught. That's what he offered. I always mention, and I started off the conversation talking about the path of yoga, that if you're doing the yoga postures, but you're not practicing the ethics of yoga, there's 10 ethics to practice, then you're just stretching. You're not really doing yoga. If you're mouthing the words of Jesus, but you're not living a life of love and forgiveness, empathy and compassion, if you're accusing people, I mean, there weren't Christians in Jesus's time. There was just people who loved Jesus. Christianity developed over time from people, other people, regular people, weird people like me. Jesus himself made it very clear the kingdom of his heaven is within. And then he laid out, this is what you do if you want to have a life of Christ. You follow this path. Sermon on the Mount. So the weird thing for me would be someone who says that they are Christian, and yet they don't truly practice Christianity. They call people names. They make accusations. They surmise. All the things that, according to the Jesus in the Bible, wouldn't have done. So yeah, that was an excellent point, Lewis. And Knight says, Yogi, I wouldn't say I'm smarter than you, but my whole family says I'm dumb and failing in school. Two things. Your family could be wrong, and they probably most certainly are. And failing in school has nothing to do with intelligence, has nothing to do with how smart you are. It might have something to do with how much you remember on test day, or how much attention do you... Hey, I watched your drawing. It takes an extremely intelligent person, or I saw your drawing. It takes an extremely intelligent person to be artistically inclined. It's a different type of intelligence. Don't judge yourself by the same eyes that your parents judge you, or that the school teachers judge you. Open up to the intelligence of the universe, and the intelligence of the universe is yours. There's no difference. The same wisdom that makes every single one of your cells function as a whole, the same wisdom that makes all of your molecules form a cell, the same wisdom that takes atoms to form those molecules and particles to form those atoms, and the nothingness of space somehow holding all of this together, that same intelligence that does all that is you. So you are as intelligent as they come, right? It is what it is says, I don't accept a book that has been changed many times, Docs. And you know what? Not just changed, but misinterpreted and mistranslated. The word sin, when it was translated from Aramaic, the original language of Jesus, into Greek, sin meant to miss the mark. It didn't mean that you were a sinner condemned to hell. It simply meant that you missed the mark, as we all do. And if you miss the mark, you can always try again. It is what it is on fire with some wisdom. Knight says there's some Russian in his chat. In Noble's chat. I see. We had someone not too long ago come in here and do that. Therodox says, hold on a minute. The car just crashed in front of my house. Well, I hope everything's okay. Lewis says, perfectly said, Eric. Everyone has an opinion, but hardly anyone follows the word. Just a bunch of talkers, no doers. Sadly so. I had a great talk with Goldie about that not too long ago. The lack of practice in Christianity. Buddhism has the Eightfold Path of Buddhism. If you want to escape suffering, although that was loosely translated as well. Originally, the Buddha said it's been translated as the Buddha saying life is suffering. What he said was that life is dukkha, and dukkha means transient, unsatisfying, which is different than suffering, but that we suffer because we try to hold on to the transient. So he has an eightfold path. Yoga has 8 limbs of yoga. If you want to be awakened and live an awakened life, you follow this path. Christianity has the Sermon on the Mount. If you want to live the life of Christ, you follow the Sermon on the Mount. You also were given explicit directions from Jesus that the kingdom of heaven is within. And yet we look for it without. Always. We go through our life thinking, heaven is this far off, distant place. And if we live our life according to both the New Testament and the Old Testament, we will one day get to heaven. Although Jesus says the kingdom of heaven is within. Look within. But we don't. We cast judgment. We look without. That's not the way to do it. So Christianity has a path. It's just when you go to church, it's not really put out there. They don't say, do this, and do this, and you will achieve the kingdom of heaven. Our friend Kay is here. Kay, how are you? And Knight says, it is what it is. I believe you to a book which has multiple versions should be read with skepticism. Islam has never been changed. That's why so many people believe religion like Islam, whose books have no change. Yeah, I don't think there's been, a whole lot of translations of the Quran. It really was the Bible multiple times, from first Hebrew, Latin, Greek, and then the New Testament from Aramaic to Greek to Latin to English. Okay, says hello to everyone in the chat. And everyone's saying hi. Oh, Kay says, let's all hit the like button. I haven't said that yet. Thank you for that. IFNHU is here with a wave. Hello, my friend. Once again, IFNHU is, hey, if you have a link for your GoFundMe, feel free to drop it here. IFNHU has a dog with a hurt leg and an expensive vet bill that he might not be able to afford. Barring that, he's hoping to get like a doggy wheelchair to take the pressure off. Kay says, agreed, Yogi. And you know what? The path of Christianity is a simple path. It's a path of love. It's a path of forgiveness. It's a path of kindness, compassion, and empathy. If you're practicing that, you're gold. It is what it is says free will can be one hell of a gift, but it can be very dangerous in the wrong mind, in the wrong hands. Battery says, I'm sorry for IFNHU, I can't pay. That's certainly okay. Well wishes are accepted as well. Sometimes we're, in a position in life when all we can do is offer a prayer, offer a smile, offer a well wish. That doesn't diminish doing that. That carries a whole lot of weight. It tells people where your heart is. This is why at the beginning of the conversation with Laradox, when they told me they were Christian or they were conservative, and was I wanted to make clear that, it doesn't serve any purpose to offer me a label because I don't want to see you as a label. It doesn't do any purpose for me to offer you a label because I don't want you to see me as a label. As I mentioned before with Kierkegaard, and I finally got a philosopher right. If you label me, you negate me. You no longer see me as a person. You just see me as that label. If I were to say, no paradox or Laradox, I'm a liberal, then we're immediately at odds. Because guess what? Conservative and liberals can't be friends. So we're told. My best running friend, we calculated once that we've probably run training and races 2,000 miles together, easily. I did my first 100-mile race with him. We drove right after the 2016 election. We drove 4 hours to a race. We ran 8 hours together. We drove 4 hours back, talking politics the entire time, but never once responded to each other as a label. We were friends who saw things differently. Doesn't affect the friendship, because I refuse to see anyone as a label. Serves no purpose, helps no one, and it certainly doesn't heal the fracture that we have in the world right now, the fracture that we have in our country. And it's a fracture that can be healed, but it's going to take a little bit of work to get there. It's going to take a lot of forgiveness to get there, and tuning into our innate capacity and our innate empathy and compassion. So let's pop in real quick. See what's going on here with our friend Noble. Noble is known for his massive marathon length live streams. He's done a couple 12 hours. An ultra live streamer. Quite a few ultra races. I love time races because you can go in there with a goal. I'm going to get this amount of mile in this amount of time, or you can let all the goals go and just stay on your feet and have fun. Sleep when you want, eat when you want, because it's all based on time. I would generally stay on my feet, my only goal being to make it for the entire 24 hours, almost always in motion. And I think my best 24-hour race was 93 miles. Never broke 100 in a 24-hour race. And Knight says, no one's chatting. Yeah, that happens sometimes. Fortunately, I have enough to say that I can keep talking without need of anyone chatting back or actually being in the chat. My conversation goes on regardless. Knight says, I'll call over Noble. Nah, that's okay. He's on his thing. He's doing well. I had a good afternoon live stream session, and I'm enjoying. I just throw ideas out. I just chat. I just talk. I'm good with it all. Let me reply here real quick. I see what. I'm doing a quick little reply here to Noble.
Then they are artificial, fake, no bueno. Uh-oh.
Yep.
I found Destiny.
I am never alone, my friend.
That's Destiny from Yogi's page. The seedless watermelons are secretly bred to not have seeds. Wow. What?
It is what it is. Says I'm bouncing back. No, I'm doing the same thing. I just had him up and running. I was telling Night Watcher. He said, "Let me run over." He's trying to get people. I really don't. As mentioned before, I don't really need people. Yeah, I appreciate everyone, obviously. But anyone who stumbled into a conversation here and hearing me talk when the chat is empty knows that I don't need an audience to chat. I'm perfectly fine putting my thoughts out there with one person listening, 0 people listening, or 100 people listening.
Kiwi is a carb. Dragon fruit is how much?
So, yeah, no need for anyone to come over. I really I appreciate Noble being noble.
Fruit. Even the seeds are clones.
Although, honestly, I feel like I need to be there to give some fruit guidance. Knight says 60 burpees per gram of cheese. That'd be a lot of burpees, I think.
Selective breeding. All of our fruits would be tiny and hardly worth shipping. Wow, fancy cereal. Even the seeds, all those are clones.
It is what it is. Says I'll take that bet.
That's true. They've been cloning corn for decades now, so you don't think that they are eating natural.
So I enjoy going listening in. I enjoy live streaming Noble's live stream. I've tried that with some other people, and it doesn't work quite as well as it does with Noble, because Noble is
for yourself.
so engaging, so much fun.
Shayla's making dip. Look at her.
I don't know. You can't lay down a burpee challenge and not expect it is what it is to pick up the mantle and run with it. Battery says that was a joke. It is what it is. Don't take it seriously, please. You basically said two things that's gonna grab hold of it is what it is. You mentioned food. Everyone knows the deep love of food. Now, if you had said, what was it, maple glaze? What was the donut of choice, Lewis? If you had said maybe donut instead of burrito, maybe. Yeah, but you mentioned food. You mentioned burpees. Knight says, it is what it is. A grown man giggling like a child. Such shame. It's a joke. It is what it is. Says, hey, I'm a fat kid inside. I love donuts. Fortunately, they make vegan donuts.
Poor Yogi. You gotta...
Donuts. A vegan donut is basically... It's a salad. It's made out of vegetables.
Sheesh, I think I'm gonna have to freaking
eat as many as you want.
Block fire battery watcher. Yeah. He just came onto my stream to say, everybody leave this stream and go to Yogi's. Yeah, I know, dude. I know. I feel weird, but I might have to block him, bro. That's weird.
Our friend Destiny is here. Destiny, how are you? Lewis says, I still have yet to try one of them donuts, Eric.
What are you looking for?
They should be fairly available. Most places,
yeah,
I think.
It's right here. What's up, Netta Bear?
Lewis says, hi to Sister Destiny.
How's it going?
And Knight says, Destiny, are you at a grocery store? It's a different part of the country, Knight.
It's like the opposite of helping me out. Like for real, he's like, he came on here just to tell everybody to leave. Like that's crazy. Why not, bro? He came on here just to tell everybody to leave my stream. Didn't even say hi or anything. Bro,
I'm tuning in. Sorry.
Pretty good. You? I'm doing pretty good. Pretty good. Fine. I'll just put him in timeout for 24 hours. How about that? 24-hour timeout.
I'm waiting to see the decision that Destiny says I'm doing awesome. I'm enjoying my weekend starting now.
Yeah.
Thanks, Eric and Lewis.
24-hour timeout.
That's awesome. So you're on vacation all the way until, I believe you said May, the 1st of May.
I did see it. It is what it is. You're funny. He said that's fair.
Let's see. I'm seeing what
it's watch hours, and there's only so much time and effort I can afford. Good jam in the background. I know they're gonna probably try to.
All right, I'm back. Destiny says, so I hope that Noble doesn't really time out night. It's just being a friend. Um, Destiny says, I'm not at a grocery store. And Knight says April 27th. Yeah, that's tomorrow. Damn, school's going to start tomorrow. I hope it cools down for you. I know you said it was 105 degrees there, or what, 91 degrees Celsius.
But if you go live again later, I'll come say hi. Sweet, thank you. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you. Appreciate that. Copyright claim.
So, all right. Destiny, we had a nice conversation earlier. I think you would have been interested in. Pardon me 1 second. I take my nighttime supplement, which is ashwagandha, it's an Ayurvedic herb, and it's mixed with a little bit of melatonin, help gently relax, nourish at the same time. And let's see. Yep. Night says 41 degrees Celsius, which is, I think, 95. Yeah. It's 105 degrees in American temperature. It's hot. Destiny says, I missed the conversation, Eric. I know you and Lewis have a lot of good stuff to talk about and share. We do. We were talking about religion, and I was talking about labels. We had a friend come in above who asked me if I was conservative, which I'm not, but I don't introduce myself as being liberal either, because I don't want to be viewed as a label. Because once you see me as that, then anything I say is going to be colored by that lens of judgment. Even if you don't think that you judge, there's going to be that layer of, well, I'm a conservative, and therefore we have to butt heads. And it seems a shame. It seems a shame for someone to come into any conversation and say, I'm a conservative, as a way of introduction, because I'd rather relate to you as a person and have you relate to me as a person at the same time, which is why I was mentioning Kierkegaard, saying, once you label me, you negate me. I think you would have had some great insights for the conversation, as you always do. Our friend Knight says, I'm very tired, but I can't sleep. Help. Breath work. Knight, when you get ready to go to bed, unplug from the phone. Don't have any lights hitting the eyes. Don't have the computer lights. You want to decompress. You want to get away from that, because the eyes react to the computer screen, and it stimulates the brain, and the brain stays stimulated for hours after you shut things down. So when you get ready to sleep, back away from the computer. Turn everything off. Turn the phone off. Rest. Don't worry about sleep yet. You just want to relax. And take 10 breaths. A breath will be breathing in and breathing out. Breathe in through the nose for a count of 4. Doesn't have to be 4 seconds, but for a count of 4. So you breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, all through your nose. Breathe out through your nose for a count of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Takes a little getting used to. That's one breath. Do that 10 times. And that'll help shift your nervous state from fight and flight, from that wakeful, go, 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 being active stage, to the rest and digest, get ready for sleep stage. And you can even do that as you're lying in bed. Breathing in through the nose, fill the belly with air. Breathing out through the nose. Count of 4, count of 8. Try that. Let me know how it works. Destiny says, tonight, take all of your weird and tired thoughts out of your head, put them on the shelf, renew your mind with positive thoughts, and fall asleep peacefully, unwind. Great advice from our friend Destiny. And Knight says, thanks for the advice. You're welcome, my friend. I hope it helps. I talk quite a bit about sleep. As one, I suffered horrible insomnia for a 2-year period of time, along with anxiety and panic attacks. My body was reacting to the stress of caring for my father, who was suffering from congestive heart failure, and I was trying to keep him safe during the COVID shutdown. I had to shut down my personal training business. I couldn't bring people over to my little home gym. I couldn't go to their house. I just could not take a single risk with my father in mind. And I was extremely concerned about him for so many reasons. For one, my father was in his 90s, and yet I was ill prepared to lose him. I knew it was coming. I'd been through it with my mom, but I've always been extremely close with my dad. He cared for me growing up, and then this was my turn. I was his caregiver for a long period of time. There was no part of me, even though I was accepting, even though I know the way of loss, even though I know the way of suffering and grief and sorrow, and that it happens and no one escapes it, I was just not prepared to lose my father. Although mentally I believed I was, but my body was holding on to that stress, and I was reacting in a very negative way. Unable to lie down. I would literally pace up and down my steps all night long, until hopefully I'd lay down and fall into a half sleep for 45 minutes, half an hour, something like that. Fortunately as well, my meditation practice and my yoga practice helped sustain me quite a bit, helped offset a lot. When I doubled down on my breath work, things started getting better. When I changed my sleeping habits, when I started practicing a sleep hygiene, meaning that we have workout routines, we have dietary guidelines, we have spiritual traditions, religious traditions, we have all kinds of stuff to guide us through our lives. We take sleep for granted until we can't sleep. And we live in a world of chronically unrested people due to stress concerns, physical issues, emotional issues. So sleep's a big, big thing. I changed everything in my life in order to get a better night's sleep. And I'm thankful for it. One of the reasons why I'm up so early is to get that first sunlight to the eyes. Earlier the better, because it'll help you sleep. And I'll explain that in a minute. I explain it often. Knight says my ADHD and my general depressive mode is probably why I can't sleep. I can relate to the depression quite a bit. I've spent a lifetime in a low-level depression that quite a few times I was offered medication, which I refused, although I don't do that out of any sense of self-righteousness that I refuse to be medicated. If you need it, And if it helps you, by all means, do what needs to be done. Depression is not anything to be taken lightly. But having used that word lightly, through my decades and decades of meditation, I began to hold that depression lightly. Meaning, yes, it was still there, but now it felt as if I was witness to the depression. I was not in the depression. I still felt it. I still dealt with it, but it just felt lighter. And it's gotten that way more and more so each year. I feel its presence. I hold its presence. I don't fight it. I don't push it away. When I suffered, it was because I refused to allow that depression there. I fought it. I tried to get it out of my life. And you simply can't do that. What is until it isn't. Doesn't mean you can't take steps to heal. You certainly should. And that's what I did with my meditation, with my breath work, with my yoga. That's what I did with my sleep issues. So getting back to the getting that sunlight to the eyes, when you go outside and you get direct sunlight to the eyes, before 9 o'clock, 9 a.m., the better. Your body naturally produces cortisol, adrenaline, as well as norepinephrine, which are stress hormones, but much needed stress hormones to help us navigate the course of the day. Just the perfect and right amount. Not too much, not too little. What happens over the course of the day is those hormones, the stress hormones, begin to die off, and their raw material is used to produce melatonin and serotonin, which are the exact hormones we need to relax and fall asleep at night. So if you don't get that sunlight to the eyes, we mess our circadian rhythm, that rhythm of rest, activity, and rest. We mess it up. So getting up early, getting out in nature, getting the sunlight, doing the breath work that I described above to help you sleep, meditation before bed to help you decompress, and to do what our friend Destiny mentioned above, being able to take those stress thoughts, be able to take all those thoughts that are running through your mind and put them on the shelf just for a bit. Knight says, I wish I had a dad who cared about me. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that you don't, my friend. Knight says, my dad is only 7 years younger than you. And I hate him with every nerve, bone, brain cell, and emotion in my body. Extremely sorry to hear that. And Destiny says tonight that this may sound crazy to you, but it's not yours. It's only become yours when you take ownership of it and claim it. Another negative thought, claim you are healed. And I always love the expression, step into your healing, which is another way of saying what Destiny is saying, that you need to claim your healing. You need to work towards your healing. You need to accept that you deserve and you're ready to be healed. Working with accordance of our original nature, working in accordance with the universe, being aligned with the universal laws. That's when I mentioned the first of the 7 spiritual laws of success, the law of pure potentiality. And I absolutely love the description. So I'll read it again quickly. The source of all creation is pure consciousness, pure potentiality seeking expression from the unmanifest to the manifest. And when we realize that our true self is one of pure potentiality, We align with the power that manifests everything in the universe, which includes healing. We don't heal ourselves. We open to the healingness, the healing nature of the universe, of which we are. Destiny says, blessings and love to everyone. Thank you for joining the host for his live stream discussion. You are all very much loved and appreciated by Eric. You certainly are. Knight says, Destiny, are you talking about my sad mood or hatred for my father? I believe she was talking about your sad mood, although a healing can take place between you and your father as well. But that might be a subject to talk about at a later time. And Knight says, I'll be going to sleep now. Good night. Have a good night's rest. Try the breath work if you're able to. And Destiny says, Eric, enjoy your weekend and take some be me time for yourself. I appreciate you very much, my friend, and thanks for all of your support. You are awesome. Forgive me for, if my thoughts are so precise. No need for forgiveness at all. I appreciate that. I appreciate the preciseness, and I always appreciate your message, as well as your care and your friendship. If the only thing that ever happened from my entire YouTube channel was, if two things ever happened, only two things happen. That I made friends with Destiny Forever Walks PhD and all of my friends, all the community, all the people that show up. That's the only thing that ever happened with being on YouTube. It would be well worth every single minute that I've spent on YouTube. Every video that I put out, every live stream I've ever done, every burpee I've ever done. And trust me, guys, I've done a lot of burpees. All of that would be worthwhile just to have gained these connections. And Destiny says, good night and relax with soft instrumental music. Another excellent suggestion. Love your family. Enjoy your weekend. Take care, Destiny. I'm going to shut down in a few minutes too. I'm just going to keep talking. As I mentioned on to Night Watcher, I'm actually perfectly fine having a conversation completely by myself, because I never truly feel by myself. I feel alone. There's a difference between aloneness and being by yourself. Alone is all inclusive. We're alone because it's as Ramana Maharshi said when he was asked, how do we treat others? And he replied with a smile, there are no others. That's aloneness. Knowing if I talk in an empty live stream, but I put out good thoughts, if I put out the good thoughts and the good vibes that our friend Destiny was mentioning above, they carry forth. They don't need an audience because it's a frequency, it's a vibration, and everyone's receptive. When our friend Laura Dox came in, wanting to know if I was a conservative, the best response to her wasn't words, but it was vibration. It was simply opening and allowing. And that's what counts. So the audience is always there. It can't be measured in a number on a screen. It can't be measured by the number of likes. Although feel free to hit the like button. It can't be measured at all. It's immeasurable. So if you do a live stream, don't do it for an audience. Do it for the sake of conversation, and a conversation is with the universe. It's always replying. It's always inspiring. I love the word inspiring. In spirit, in breath, always present. So you don't need numbers on a screen to do what you do. You simply do it for the sake of having it done. That's the whole lesson from Krishna to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita. It's the lesson in the Tao Te Ching. There's no doer. So there's no me talking. There's no you, whoever you might be, listening. There's simply conversation happening, which is a lot of fun. And it allows me absolute freedom to navigate the emptiness of a live stream or the fullness of a live stream, whatever the case may be. And just simply continue on. However, with that, I will probably say goodnight. Oh, Destiny's still here. I'm still here listening. Thank you, Destiny. I appreciate it. Destiny, well, I don't want to keep you up. I'll be saying goodnight in a minute. But I do want to mention, when I was talking about we do what we do regardless of who else shows up, because in reality, everyone else is already here. That's the beauty of that aloneness that I was mentioning. Alone simply means one. And we're all one. Your audience is already here. That's why I love watching you dance in your treadmill. Because you're not dancing for an audience. You are dancing because of the joy that you have in your heart. And it really strikes me as perhaps the most beautiful thing on YouTube. So with that, I will say goodnight. But I did want to mention just how much I appreciate that, and how much that joy brings to my life, and how much it means to me. So, with that, I will be back tomorrow for burpees and some live streams in the morning and the evening once again. So, hey, I appreciate it. Destiny, thank you very much for being here. It is what it is. Lewis, always appreciate you being here. Night Watcher, night. Thank you. I hope you get some sleep. And I hope you get some healing as well, my friend. And we had Laradox come in, and I appreciate you being here, regardless of any differences we might have. So thank you. You guys have a very good night.